a quandary. What to do about this? It would be nice if there was a joint right there, but there's not. This is nice and thick wood. In the old days, when they would call it a 2x6, a 2x6, it was an actual 2 inches thick, 6 inches wide. Nowadays, it's 1.5 by 5.5. Did you know that, Anna?
No.
That's
Good to know.
That's why they called it a 2x6. Look how thick this is. It's almost 2 inches right there. This wood. They don't make wood like that anymore. No sirree. We gotta cut that. We gotta cut that out of there. And this is nailed on the back side here. It's also nailed over here. This piece here is a little suspect. I'm gonna have to be careful with that. You want to look for nails because this was actually nailed down there. So the first thing I'm gonna do is find some nails. And look at that. There's one right there. I'll take my cat's paw. And this one is already lifted a little bit. See how rotten this is? If you're thinking of replacing your window, don't think, okay, I'm just gonna kind of jerry rig this and put some putty in here and paint it. Don't even think about it, okay? And these nails were thicker too, so sometimes cat's paws don't work too well. It's all rusted out. This was a thick nail too. They don't make nails like that anymore either. Okay, I got another one here. Trust me, it's here. Okay. So, gotta figure out how to get that. See, that's all dry rotted, or else I couldn't put my cat's paw right down through there. Okay, so now, what am I going to do there? Am I going to take my inch and a quarter chisel and start chiseling this out? Oh yeah, you could do that, but that's going to take you way too long. We're not going to do that. I'm going to use something that you may not have used before. It's a Sawzall, and this one got the zoom off.
Yeah.
Okay, this one is a battery-operated Sawzall, and you would think there's not much power with this, but check it out. Lithium battery. It's an 18-volt battery, and a lithium battery replaces all your old-style batteries, and this actually makes it reciprocate that much quicker. And usually your lithium batteries are designed to fit into an old Sawzall, skill saws, drills, whatever. Okay, so next time your old batteries take a dump on you, let's say, get the lithium ones. Don't buy the other ones. These last longer too, 20% more powerful, I hear. And they don't make Sawzall like they did in the old days either. Remember, these used to be with the little Allen wrench, and to take that off, you just loosen that up like that, you can pull this blade out. And this is the blade I'm going to use. It almost looks like something that you would cut tree limbs with. Nice sharp blade. This will rip you up if you're not careful. Okay, and the good thing about that is you can flip it either direction. I can have it like that, or I can flip it around. See, if I have it like that, if I was cutting something flat, the battery and the handle is going to be in my way, so I'm going to be cutting at an angle. If I flip this around, let's see if I can get it out of there. Oh, I kind of tighten that a little bit. Jeez, what's happening here? Oh, okay, there. I didn't have that lifted up all the way. I can flip this around. And lots of old style Sawzalls, you may not be able to flip it around like that. Okay, make sure it's pushed down all the way. Now tighten it up. Zingo. Now if you're cutting something flat, look at that. You can go right down, like if you're cutting mud sill in between a door jamb or something, if you frame walls or something. You got more control doing it flat this way instead of like that sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to cut this thing out of there. Well, how am I going to do that? Just watch and learn, Stern. Okay. So I'm gonna chop this out, but it's nailed at both ends, and so I can't just cut it out of there and try to wedge it out because it could rip this off. So I'm going to cut it in half first, and I'm actually going to use the tip just right in there. You're going to have to be careful because I don't want to mess up this edge. Let's see if I can do it. You're going to have to start here and work your way that way. Once I get my tip in all the way, now I can use the tip and kind of feel for where this edge is. It's chattering more so than before. That's because this is all kind of rotten. See how it's moving around already? I may have to cut the angle this way first, but I'm going to try a little bit more first. Usually the blade doesn't chatter as much because it's stuck in the groove, but because this is all dry rotted out, see how much it's flopping? That's why it's taking a little bit longer. Just stick with it. Now I can flip it this way. Okay, that's my first step. Okay, now I'm going to rip this over here. So I'm going to get my saw over this way. You might have to move your camera. And I got to get my tip in there. That's why you got to keep your tip sharp, you know. And if you start getting a dull blade, hey, the blades don't cost very much. Don't keep trying to use it until you can hardly cut it with sheetrock with this thing. You know, always make sure you got a sharp blade. It'll do yourself a favor by doing that. Okay? That is pretty torqued out with just having a battery. I never would have thought the Sawzall would be this powerful with just a battery. 18 volt. I want to get all the way through it, and then I can start going flat and then back and forth, you know. Just be careful and hang on. Okay, now I just felt it go through. And see, I got a little bit of a gap there, so my tip doesn't have to hit here. That's why I cut this in half, because I only have to cut this over to here, so I can just concentrate on getting that piece out first. There's no other tool that I know of that you can cut this line like a Sawzall. See, it sounds like I'm hitting a nail somewhere along here, and it could be something down below, or actually it could be the plaster on the inside, because I'm picking up some concrete from the inside, because there's plaster on the inside, so some of that plaster is run up on here. So when I hear that, I just want to lift the blade up a little bit maybe. Got goggles on, you should probably have a mask on, gloves, you know, be ready for your project. Okay. Now, don't just take this and rip it out, because see, the back side of this is very loose. If you got nails from the inside, let's say, that piece probably needs to stay in there. I'll let them worry about that, the glass company. Now the nails are coming on from the back this way, so if I rip this, I could tweak this and break this all apart. Okay, so be careful. Now this one here, See, because it's falling all apart, I could probably just pull it out. There it was. Pulled it straight out. See these nails here? They're all rusty. That's why it came out so easily. Now sometimes what's going to happen is you're going to have that in there, and then you can pull it back out a little bit and split this in half. And I'll do that with this next one, I think. Show you how to do that. You would hold that up there like that with your flat bar. We take the flat bar, put that up here, however, and then if you can imagine this is attached to something nice and tight, then you can take your cat's paw and actually split that, and usually it'll split close to a nail, then you can pull this off piece by piece without damaging this end. Okay? Because we want to leave that there. We want to let the glass company figure out exactly how they're going to attach to here, because this thing is pretty suspect. Okay? So on these nails, because they're so rusty, I can just bend this back and forth and snap it off. It just snaps off. Or you can, sometimes you can cut it off. See, that just snapped off because it was brittle. So you don't necessarily, the more banging you do at this point, the more likely you are to pull this all apart. So, hey, have fun, glass company. I don't know exactly how you're going to do that. They may have to put some blocks in here for this up, attach that properly. My job is done on that corner, okay? See how this is nice and cut here? See, that's what I was hitting. Remember I said I thought it was a nail? Well, look what they did. They used these as shims. Oh, funny boys. Hey, you do what you got to do years ago, right? There, they got some wood shims in the corner, but they just use this stuff and kind of poo strip in there. Okay? All right, let's tackle this piece now. We'll tackle this next. You see, if you have a shop vac, you can now vacuum it all up. Hey, you don't have to buy a shop vac. You don't need to have it that clean. You can take a broom, a little crummy paintbrush, like I said, something like that. This is how your opening is going to look. Okay, now you can measure that and cut a piece of plywood and screw that in, being ready for the glass company. Well, that's about it, but there's one more important thing I want to show you.